Hi, Shruti.
Hi, Paridhi, and thank you for taking out the time to connect today. Congratulations on your admit. You are headed to IIMA PGPX, and it has been a long journey for you. Please share your work experience with us.
I have about 4 years and 8 months of work experience, primarily in the research and development of two different firms in mechanical engineering. For the past 3 years, I've been working at Siemens Energy. It's a firm of the energy industry. We basically design gas turbines now towards the clean energy side and hydrogen fuels. I have done my master's from IIT Delhi. Professionally, this is it.
You've done great work so far. I think IIMA is the best place for you to be.
Yes,
Tell me
yeah.
about what criteria were important for you when you were selecting the MBA program.
I wanted to finish my 1-year MBA program from India itself. This is one of the top B schools in India to go for a program like that. One criteria was this. Primarily, when you are planning for B schools, especially in India, you just look at the rankings and the overall brand value. So I think IIMA as a brand adds a lot to your resume. With the kind and the amount of work experience that I was having, I felt I will have a batch which is more relatable to me. I browsed through the profiles of a lot of people on LinkedIn who had done the PGPX at IIM Ahmedabad. Hence, I decided to apply for it.
You have a very busy schedule, personally as well as professionally. How did you approach preparing for the GMAT? How did you take out the time to do that and then finally managing a good score?
I have a daughter. She's 1.5 years old now. So personally, with the work and everything, it's quite challenging. I decided to give GMAT in March this year. I just talked to a couple of my friends who had good scores, and they said visit the Manhattan Prep series, okay, properly twice, thrice. That should suffice. I gave one reading of all the books. I come from an engineering background, so the mathematics segment seemed simpler to me, but I still went through all of it. I prepared for GMAT for about 1.5 to 2 months. Okay. I went back to my mother's place. She was taking care of the child. And I again revisited all the books. Number one, this. I solved a lot of these questions on GMAT Club. The most difficult ones, I spent a lot of time in understanding where I went wrong, especially like in my case, the critical reasoning section was SAE. So I gave one attempt basically in July. I got a very bad score. 20 days later, I gave another attempt. Okay. The only difference between the two was the thing that I gave like 5 to 6 tests and worked on my time management. Like all these exams for MBA entrances, I think even the GMAT is a lot about how well you are managing your time during the exam. You don't have to attempt 100% of the paper correctly. Nobody is doing that. It's about just selecting the right questions, moving through the wrong ones very quickly and not wasting too much time on them. Of course, accuracy, because if that's not there, even the right ones will go wrong. I mean, this was basically a walkthrough of my journey of preparing for GMAT, and I got a score of 710, which was good enough to apply. My first attempt, I did not know when to give my second attempt with the round one deadline approaching. I connected with you after my first attempt at GMAT, and you just told me, okay, give another attempt. Sometimes people get stuck in this mindset. They end up spending a lot of time on it. But you talked to me and you gave me the confidence. Score is just one segment. Your profile, your essays, and a lot of other things are going to play an important role. Give it again if you think your score is not good enough, and we will apply with whatever score is. So hence, I actually gave my second attempt before the round one deadline for IIM Ahmedabad, and this one mentioned. Much credit, to be honest. Yeah.
How did you go about working on the personal brand, putting up the story in terms of your career plans and for the application?
Much of my work up till now has been in the research and development of gas turbines. I have some knowledge of the energy industry as well, and a lot of it of the mechanical R&D and how, the product research side of it, basically. I mean, you're asking why I want to do the MBA. Right?
No, I want to ask you about how you built up the application. What was the storytelling part, or how you presented your personal brand in the application?
This was a big segment of my brand, that the work that I had done recently was redesigning gas turbines for hydrogen-based fuels. So some sort of involvement with the renewable energy segment, which is differentiating, I believe, according to me. And secondly, I've had good academics, so I also projected that in my brand. Given that, I've had a good consistent track record of good academics and everything. My brand was a mixture of everything, even some elements of the sports, things that I've participated in and highlights of that. Most of it, I think, was about the work experience.
What was the interview experience like? And what were the things that really helped in the preparation for the interview?
When the candidates are shortlisted, we get about 3 to 4 days to finish the essays. You're not preparing for the interviews while you're writing your essays, which is also sort of preparation for that. But then begins your preparation. I took a later date because I had the option to go to another city as well. So I took a whole 2 weeks because till I was shortlisted, I was not prepared at all for the interviews. I had not given a single mock. Okay, and we gave a couple of mocks together. The preparation was basically in two directions. One was the extempore. So I really focused on that and I prepared a lot on that. What helped eventually was, first of all, you walk into the interview, you walk in for an extempore with the confidence that you've really glossed through a lot of current affairs and you know about what is going on in detail. And secondly, you prepare to deal with the on the spot experience, right? At the end of the day, that comes when you practice a lot of mocks. I did a couple of mock extempore interviews with you, and even after that, I was advised to do a lot of them, single handedly by myself. So I did that. One aspect was this, and the second one was the very basic questions. I'll come to my interview experience because those are the questions I remember actually. So they revolve around your profile. Okay, in my case, that they talked about my work experience. They talked about my education also. Then they asked why you want to do your MBA, and in my particular case, they asked why I would not want to go into consulting, because in my application, I was very clear that I want to stay in my industry, move across different functions, and eventually move to a strategy or a higher role in my domain only. So, yes, they will ask questions from the essays and mostly from your profile. That was my experience. I'm also getting to hear that for a lot of other people, the interview did revolve around the extempore only. In my case, there was a huge discussion on the profile, but a lot of people who got selected had their entire interviews about the extempore topic only. So I would still recommend it to anybody that just prepare for the extempore very properly.
Yeah, it can go in any direction. They can choose, to talk about the profile more or about the extempore more.
Whatever route they take.
For the people who are planning to or stepping into this preparation zone for the GMAT and for the application for the next cycle, what are your tips and suggestions for them to follow?
Again, I'll suggest things from my standpoint only. So the first thing, which of course is the most relevant, is a good enough GMAT score at least. Okay, I focused on that. I actually gave 2 attempts for that. However, I would still not recommend that. Just go blindly behind a 760 or something, as we discussed earlier. So one is the GMAT. Then the essays are also important from A's perspective. Now, I had a very small amount of time to prepare, and so, luckily I made it through. But it is recommended that people start preparing for interviews as well very much in advance, because it can totally go in a very bad direction if you do not prepare at all, right? So just this is what I can think of.
Yeah, you can be caught really unawares if you're not preparing. It was great working with you on your application.
And thank you very much for guiding me, especially through the essays, Shruti, and also for the interviews. You guys are doing a great job.